Hello, hello. Welcome to Facebook Live. Sorry I wasn't here last week. I think the time just kind of got away from me a little bit. But I'm back. Okay, so something that I want to mention straight away is free shipping. Okay, so this is from Stampin' Up. 3 days only, the 11th till the 13th of June. Okay, so that will be starting Thursday. Yeah, it will be. It's the 9th day, the 10th. Yeah, so starting Thursday, there's free shipping. Please note it's on orders of $65 or more. I will be setting up a group shipping code. So that is for people that live local to me, to save on your shipping. Your products will be shipped directly to me and then I'll get them to you. So, but please note that is for Traralgon-based people. If you're outside of Traralgon, you'll be looking at getting your minimum 65. So even if you just perhaps need some adhesives and it only comes to maybe $30 worth, get your order to me. We'll clump them together and you'll still get your free shipping. Okay, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to see comments, but if you are watching, please let me know you're there. But yeah, let's get started. So free shipping, I'll mention that again before we finish. Okay, one thing I just quickly want to share with you is the last two Facebook Lives. I've got the cards that I made. These are the giveaways. I'm going to be announcing or drawing the winners of these two cards at the end, so stick around. All right, and I'm determined not to forget. Okay, the current catalogue, May to August catalogue. The designer series papers I'm going to be using for this card. Let me show you the card first. Is this one just here? And I've just realised I'm actually forgotten to grab the Stampin' Blends, which I think are just over here on the table. So I'm going to quickly grab those so I can colour in the pearls. Good. That's amazing. They're actually there where I thought they were. Okay, so with the iridescent pearls, they normally come in white. I'm going to be using the Calypso Coral Stampin' Blends marker, probably the dark one, to colour the pearls before I put them on. Okay, so a few products that I've used in this. I have used the designer series paper, which I'm going to show you in just a moment, is called Bloom Boutique. So this can be found on page 64 of the catalogue. I haven't got the sticker sheets that you can get with it. You can purchase just the designer series paper. It's a specialty paper for $30, 12 by 12, 12 sheets, two each of each design. Or you can get the add-on here. Let me just show you. You can get the paper, plus you can get a sticker sheet as well. So I tend not to get the sticker sheets because I don't really use them, but they are an added extra if you'd like to get those. So you can get the papers plus the sticker sheet, and that will cost you $38. Okay, so let me show you the actual papers. I have used these papers a bit, so I've got a few sheets that aren't full sheets, but let me show you. Being a specialty paper, they have, I'm not sure if that's being picked up very well, but it has a beautiful shimmer and shine to it. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's actually showing up, but beautiful colours. They're the new ink colours in this paper. So this blue tone, or blue, or it's a sort of a purple tone. It's Hydrangea hue, which I think hydrangeas tend to be blue rather than purple, but it's that sort of in-between colour. We've also got one here. This is Golden Glow. All of the floral print side of these papers has the gold embossing. Okay, so this one here, we've got some crisp cantaloupe, but the base colour is, I can't think of the name of that one. It's the pink, barely, I haven't got my head around the new in colours yet. I will have a look at that in just a moment. So again, Hydrangea Hue, and this is all I've got left of this actual sheet. So I have used this one a fair bit. Let me just check. Barely Blush, okay, is this pink is Barely Blush. So as I mentioned, I have used quite a bit of this paper. And let me show you the reverse side. So the reverse side doesn't have that embossing on it. Very, very versatile patterns. I love this one. Okay, so this is Peaceful Pine, is the darker green. There we go, some more of the Hydrangea Hue. We've got the Crisp Cantaloupe, and again we've got Peaceful Pine and the Crisp Cantaloupe. So nice versatile patterns on the reverse side. But I do love the other side that has the floral patterns with all of the gold embossing. Okay, I'm going to pop that aside. All right, the stamp set or the bundle I'm using is called Exciting Times. So let me share that one with you very quickly, and then we'll get started on the card. So here it is here. Well, I haven't found the bundle. Let me flick through to the bundle, which is one page earlier. Okay, so down here we've got Exciting Times bundle, which has the stamp set, which has some really serviceable sentiments. It's got 2 stamps in there, and to complete the bundle, it also has the rounded rectangle punch. Okay, so I'll be using this tonight, and the color I'm using on this card is Crisp Cantaloupe. So one of the new in colors. It is a returning color. You might remember it from a number of years ago. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be sharing with you, those products. Okay, so here is the card. I think I did show you that just a little bit earlier. Let's go through the products that we have here. This is leftover kit from the launch events that I did the week before last, and did card buffet. So there were 8 different cards to choose from. So those are going to be popping up in the Facebook Lives. Okay, so what I've got here, I've got my half sheet of thick white, which is for the base, and I have scored that ahead of time. I have 2 pieces of Crisp Cantaloupe, and this measures 10 centimeters by 14.4. I also have 2 pieces of basic white, both the same size. We've got 9.5 by 13.9. These probably sound familiar to you, these measurements, because they're the ones I use pretty much all the time. I've got an off-cut piece of cardstock to do my stamping, and I'll be doing a couple of different stamps. I've got my designer series paper that I've punched out, and let's see what else have I got here. I've got my iridescent pearls that I still need to colour, and also some of the white baker's twine as well, which just adds a little bit of extra detail. Okay, so let's get started. Now, as always, with your card base, grab your bone folder out. It just makes that fold nice and crisp. Hi, Carol. Thank you. Yeah, I had good intentions of being on last week, but time got away from me, as it does. Okay, so that's my card base. I'm going to start off with doing my bit of stamping. So this piece actually does measure about 15 by 6.5. Okay, but you can use offcuts from, I actually have just a little container that I have all my white offcuts in, because I'm always scratching through that looking for a piece that I can stamp on or die cut. Okay, Crisp Cantaloupe, the new style ink pads. Please remember, these new style ink pads are magnetic. Okay, they do cost $25 per ink pad, but they do have metal and magnets in them. So these stack together beautifully and hold together, so they're not going to go slipping around if you're traveling with them. And easy to open, which is one of the best things about these new ink pads. So if you perhaps don't have a lot of strength in your hands, or you might have arthritis in your hands and fingers, these ink pads are going to be absolutely perfect for you to use. Okay, here is the not clean stamp set from when it was used last. So let me grab out the sets that I need. So they will put away without being clean. So I will be giving these a quick clean, and I also need the happy birthday as well. Again, I will give these a really quick clean before I use them, because normally you would put your stamps away nice and clean. And I also need a block as well. So let me just do a really quick clean up here. Oops. Just so we're starting with a nice clean stamp. We'll see how I go getting it clean, because the ink has actually been on this stamp for a bit of time. No, it might actually be me later on, perhaps putting it under the tap just to get the ink out of all of those little crevices there. Okay, it'll be okay. Clean enough for me to use for this project anyway. Hi Bianca. Yeah, it's nice to be back. I'm hoping to be a bit more consistent with everything I do on social media, because sometimes, well, particularly over the past 12 months, life has kind of gotten in the way a little bit. Okay, so that's a bit better. All right, the other thing I'm going to do before I stamp on my cardstock is just make sure, because this ink pad's quite juicy. These are different to the old style ink pads. These are a bit firmer and they have like a linen cover on them, so they do behave a little bit differently. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a wiggle and a couple of taps, and we'll see how this goes with stamping. That's actually not too bad. Of course, like with any ink, if the ink pad's new and a bit wet, you don't necessarily kind of get a little bit of extra ink, pick up extra ink, and it kind of bleeds a little bit. Okay, so this one, a little wiggle, a few taps, and let's see how it goes. Hopefully it will stamp okay. And of course that bit of even pressure. Yeah, so can you see that it's kind of feathered just a little bit? So what I'm going to do, I always have in my caddy next to me, this is just a plastic spoon. I'm going to be pushing some of that ink down towards the bottom of that ink pad, because you may have noticed that there's some bubbling there. That is just from the excess ink. So the spoon, I just clean it off, and then I'm going to try and stamp again. Okay, hopefully it won't be so wet this time. Bit of a wiggle, couple of taps. I'm going to try on my scrap paper underneath. Oh, that's better. Okay, so that trick I did with the little plastic spoon and moving the ink a little bit, you can do that with any of the ink pads if they're a little bit wet. Okay, so there is the first one. And I don't need all of the second one, because I'm just going to be cutting out that middle bit there. Okay. And next I've got as well my sentiment. Little wiggle, tap, and then stamp. So it has stamped a little bit better. In time though, with the new ink pads, I won't have to use the spoon to push the ink down a little bit to make the top a bit drier. Just through using your ink pads, they're going to dry out just a little bit. Okay, so punch. This is the round rectangle. So I'm going to be lining up that middle rectangle with the sentiment. That's a punch out. nice and simple. I don't have a dial punch to cut this other bit out, so let me grab my snips to cut this out. And this is a really simple cut out that will only take you just a moment or two. Okay. Okay, so a question for those who are watching or even watching on replay. What did you get up to over the long weekend? Because I'd love to know. And did you get time to sit and do anything creative? I did put a post up a couple of days ago where some people shared some photos. So thank you to those people who shared those. I loved seeing what you make. But yeah, what did you get up to over the long weekend? Okay, so I am working on this element just here. Okay, so I've got my couple of bits of stamped pieces, and I've done my cutting out, which actually this bit I didn't even cut off the corners, and that's okay too. All right, so I do have my 2 punch outs with the rectangle, and they are going to stick behind that bottom piece there. So I am going to use, I think, a little bit of Tombow, because this gives me a chance to wiggle my die cut, or sorry, my punched rectangle, just to get that into the spot that I want it. And again on the other side. Now you can also, of course, you could, if you wanted to save a little bit of your paper, you could just cut your rounded rectangle in half and use half on each side. There we go, very simple. And I was able to, just as I mentioned, wiggle it a little bit to get it into the right position. Oh, nice, Bianca. Yeah, pizza oven. Oh, lovely. I'm glad you caught up with friends. Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to do those social things a little bit, don't you? And catching up with friends is always a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm next going to use some dimensionals, and I will pop my sentiment onto this element, and then that's going to be ready to go onto my card front. And of course, I'm going to use mini dimensionals, and I've got my take your pick tool. I think out of all of the tools that Stampin' Up! Has given us, this is probably one of my favourite. There's not many times that I actually don't create something and not use this tool. Oh, lovely, Carol. Made some cards that you saw on YouTube. We are so fortunate. We have an abundance of places where we can find inspiration. And I love some of the YouTube ones, because the fancy folds, I actually did a fancy fold card on the weekend for a class that's coming up in July. So I just love that I can sit there, watch it, and I know how to create that card. Okay, so that is ready to go on my card. I am going to just grab my little pearls, and I'm using the dark crisp cantaloupe. So I'm going to be colouring in each of these little pearls, and then they'll coordinate really nicely. I use Stampin' Blends, of course, in classes when I'm colouring images, but one of the things I think I love the most about the Stampin' Blends, that you can coordinate any of the ribbons and the trims that we have and embellishments to match your project perfectly. So I do spend a lot of time colouring in rhinestones and also iridescent pearls. It just makes life easy. Yeah, I think, yeah, as I mentioned, Carol, I agree. Once you've got the Take Your Pick tool, you do use it all the time. Okay, so there are my pearls that are coloured. They are pretty much dry. I'm just going to leave them aside just for a few moments. And of course, the other thing you can do if you want to is colour in your baker's twine as well. It does need just a couple of minutes to finish drying before you put it on, because you don't want to get any of that colour transfer onto particularly white cardstock. But it doesn't take too long at all for it to dry. Okay. If you've got kinks or you've got your baker's twine curling up, just run it between your thumb fingernail and your index finger, and then that gets rid of those little kinks. Okay, so let's move on to do the next bit of the front. I've got 2 pieces of baker's twine. The longer one measures 25 centimetres and the shorter one is 18. So I am going to be putting the shorter one across the card front. Now, to stick this at the back, you can use some double-sided tape or you can use a dimensional. I tend to always use a little bit of sticky tape because for me it doesn't make a mess and it's right on my table. Okay, so let's get this other end stuck down. Kind of sort of in the middle. Close enough will be good enough. I think that's okay. All right, so that is that piece done. I have got the element I was working on earlier. Again, I'm going to be putting some dimensionals behind this one. Okay, so I've got a few extra, and of course you can put on as many or as few dimensionals as you like. I think these days I'm erring more on the side of using more just to make sure that what I'm using the dimensionals on doesn't kind of get flattened out too much. Okay, and of course to get those little papers off, get one out of the way, I've just stabbed into the back of the dimensional and they flick up really nicely on the pick tool or the piecing tool. Okay, so let's get this onto the card front. So that's going to sit around about there. Okay, my second piece of the baker's twine. This is the one that measures 25 centimetres. I'm just threading that under that first piece and I'm tying a bow. And this is just the same as a normal shoelace tie. And I'm actually quite happy. My fingers are working okay today because it has been a bit cold. It was actually quite cold at work today, which is unusual. I work in a lighting shop, so it's rare that it actually feels cool in there because we have so many lights going all the time. But it actually did feel cool today. Okay, so there is my bow done as well. Can you buy replacements? I will look into it for you, Bianca. I'm not 100% sure, but let me write a note. So replacement. Piercing end. I'll let you know. I'll look into it because to lose this one, it's yeah, it'd be a shame because I use that all the time. The reverse end is just a little flat spatula end. This is awesome for getting up under an element that you've stuck down and you've stuck it in the wrong place. But I think the piercing tool end is probably the one I use the most. I use it with the dies as well to poke out the pieces if they haven't released. Okay, so let's put our pearls on, and I am using the putty end. 100% certainty, you can buy the replacement putty ends. Okay, so slide that one up and then simply onto the card front. So with your putty, if that starts to get a bit dry or it's gotten a bit dirty, just pinch it off and then give this part here a bit of a twist and you'll get new putty oozing through the tip. Okay. Oh, not a problem at all, Bianca. Happy to help out when I can, but shall definitely look into that for you. Okay, let's put the rest of this card together now that this bit is finished. Okay, so I will be putting my piece of crisp cantaloupe onto the front, and this piece measures 10 centimeters by 14.4. I'm using Stampin' Seal, which is my go-to adhesive. Just remember, if you're using your Stampin' Seal, a light hand and that little flick just to break the stream of the adhesive. I found that sometimes if I don't do that, it kind of stretches out a little bit like bubble gum. Let's see if I can get this on straight. I think that's okay. All right, so there is that piece. This piece I just completed, I'm going to be using, again, some dimensionals. So a few in each corner. Yeah, I'm not sure which dimensionals I like the most. I'm not sure if I prefer the minis or whether I prefer the standard size, which are kind of double the size of these. Okay, so a question for those who are watching. Do you prefer using the mini dimensionals or the standard size ones? Which, let me show you the standards, because I don't use them a lot. I tend to use the minis. Let's see if this will show up okay on my phone. So I'm not sure if you can see, but they're quite a bit bigger. Still the same shape, they're just about double the size. I'm not sure how well that's showing up. Maybe if I go like that, you can see a little bit better there. So what is your preference? The minis or the standard size? Although I must admit, the standard size ones, if you've got smaller flowers, they usually fit perfectly behind those little flowers. Okay, let's get this onto the card front. There we go, almost done. Just need to finish off the inside. Again, I've got my white measures 9.5 by 13.9. Crisp cantaloupe measures 10 centimeters by 14.4. Yeah, I think minis, I found that sometimes the standard ones are a little bit too big and I've had to cut them down in size. Whereas the minis, yeah, there's not so much of a need to do that. Okay, just very simple centered, and final little bit, and then the card is done. So for those who are watching and have left comments, so that does include, of course, Bianca and Carol, you'll be put in the draw to win this card next week. Well, I'm planning on being back next week. I'm really hoping I can. Unless something crazy happens between now and then. We never know. Okay, and there we go. It's not a terribly difficult card. The design is quite simple. Change up the colour, change the designer series paper, and it will just look a little different. Same but different. Yeah, minis are great for the small pieces. Okay, so we do have a couple of cards to give away. So this was from a number of weeks ago, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, and this could be 4 weeks ago, and this one was from the last Facebook Live that I did. I'm going to say with confidence this was the last one. So I have got everyone who made comment. I do have your name in my little container. Let me just give it a good shake. And I'm just going to draw 2 winners. So the first card, and again, crisp cantaloupe, such a beautiful colour. Let me see. So card number 1 goes to Corinne. Actually, I think she did well. Last time I did a draw, I think she got something as well. So that is the first card. So thank you to Corinne for watching and leaving a comment. This will be in the mail soon. And the second card, which is this one, the Thinking of You. goes to Sharon. I don't think Sharon's watching, but again, this is going to be popped in the mail to Sharon. So, and of course, to everybody who watches and takes time to leave a comment, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. All right. So that is it for tonight. Just final reminder about free shipping. It starts on Thursday. So we've got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I will set up a group code, and I won't set the group code up until the 11th. So if you're interested in placing an order and you're local to me, but you only need a couple of things that won't get to the $65, get your order to me ahead of time. I can place that on your behalf, or you can place it and just enter in the group shipping code. So there'll be some reminders on my Facebook page about that. So that is tonight's card. So I really hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much to Carol and Bianca for joining me. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your evening. I'm going to do my very, very best to be back here next week and share another card from the launch with you. So until then, take care, and I will see you next Tuesday.